Hey everyone, my name is Goblin, and welcome to my Tyr solo lane guide. So we're going to get right into it. The first thing we're going to look at is what do Tyr's abilities do. So the passive you don't have to think about, it just reduces CC on you so that it can't last for more than 1 second. And then Tyr is a stance changer, so the stance changes on the 3 and it has a cooldown. So what happens is you have 2 versions of your 1 and 2 versions of your 2, and then 2 different effects on your ultimate, which will happen depending on which stance you're in, either assault stance or guard stance. So the Fearless is a dash forward. You knock up the enemy twice, and then when you're in the other stance, you dash forward and knock up enemies in your path, dealing damage on both. The assault stance does more damage because it's 2 hits. Then you have the 2 power cleave. In the guard stance, it will hit in a cone in front of you and heal. And in the assault stance, it will just do damage. And if you've already knocked somebody up, it will knock them a 3rd time. Your stance swap, when you level it up, gives you free power and free protections, depending on which stance you're in. And then you get half of the amount in the other stance. And then the ultimate is you become CC immune and you leap forward. In assault stance, it does boosted damage, and in guard stance, it does a stun when you land on the enemies. So what you want to do on Tyr for leveling priority is at level 1, when you're clearing your buffs, you want to start with power cleave. And I will show you the combo to use with that to clear really efficiently after. And then what you do is you don't need to put any points into your 3 to use it. You just get it for free. So you save putting points into that until last. So what you do is you're going to go, I will show you, I'm going to reset my level here, and then you can see how I would level it up. So you go a point in the 2, then a point in the 1, then a point in the 2, point in the 1, ultimate, and then I believe you're going to be able to do 2 points in the 2, 1 in the 1, 1 in the 2, finish the 1, and then slam the 3. I like to do the ultimate last. In the laning phase, you're not really using this for damage or to kill people. You're using it for safety and to get away. So I don't put any points in it until the end. I think it's better to have more damage on the 1-2 combo and in the passive ability of the stance change. Okay, so now we're going to look at how do Tyr's combos work. Tyr is definitely a comboing god. So there's one main thing that you need to know about how he works, and it's that Fearless, your dash, you can't right click to cancel. But what you can do is cancel it by using power cleave. So if I want to cancel my Fearless early, I press power cleave and the Fearless stops. And that's where the combo potential from Tyr comes from. So the primary, very basic combo that Tyr wants to do is to just full dash and power cleave one person like that. You just simply, at the end of your 1, you hit 2 in the assault stance. The opposite is true as well. You can dash through somebody, and then when you're ready to hit them, just press 2. So if they're right on top of me, I can just do a short dash and then press 2 right away. So that is kind of the 2 like kind of easy versions of the combo. And then the more advanced stuff starts to build on top of that. So your other main thing that you're going to want to do with Tyr is you basically want blink on this character every game. And a very straightforward combo you can do is blink behind somebody and then push them towards your teammates so that they can get killed by your team. So that's something that you're definitely going to want to practice doing. To do it fast definitely does take a little bit of practice. And then the other thing that you can do is you can also, you know, ult onto somebody and push them right away. That is another thing that you can do. Now, once you get into, that's kind of the main things, then you can get into some more like longer combos. So for example, you can push this guy, hit him like that, swap, knock him up, and do that again. You can also do like auto canceling like this, where you're doing an auto, a power cleave, swapping, autoing, and doing another power cleave. That's going to be like your best DPS on kind of like camps and stuff. Another thing that people like to do is do your 1-2 combo in the orange stance and then swap, and you can actually do that to disengage. Start with the power cleave and then go to the fearless. You can, if you want, try to, if getting the third knockup off of your fearless is not going to be that valuable, you can fearless and then auto cleave auto, then, you know, keep doing that. Another move that I like to do is when you're engaging, if you don't have blink, you can use your Lawbringer in guard stance first. Go in, stun, instantly swap, and push. That's going to be really valuable in the late game, and if you don't have your blink up, that's going to be one of the best ways to engage. So that's most of the combos that I would do on Tyr. Another thing that you can do is if you're trying to juke something, or you can just straight up cancel your 1 with the 2. You can also do that if somebody beads, because you're going to go the whole distance if they beads, and then you're going to be away from them and you don't want to lose your distance. So if I see this guy beads, I can immediately press my 2, and then I can stop where he is, swap, and then you want to wait for the beads to run out and then go for the knockup. That should be about it for combos. So let's look at what we're going to build on Tyr in the solo lane. So Tyr definitely likes to go bluestone. I would definitely start with bluestone, and I think it's best to go power on him first. So I'm going to go Blackthorn Hammer. You're going to buy these 2, and it's a Tyr 1. I do like to start teleport on him right now. Sometimes you can go blink at level 1, but I do think teleport is pretty good. And I would go Horn Shard at the start of the game. You don't really need golden to help you clear it all. And then we're going to finish Blackthorn, and then I like to go into Breastplate. This gives us 30% cooldown. It lets you spam in the laning phase, which is really what Tyr wants to do. You want to insta-clear the wave, you want to run to the camps, you want to clear them, you want to just spam your abilities on the other guy, you want to use your guard stance power cleave to heal you. Once you have this ranked up, it heals you for a lot when you hit the wave with it. Then we're going to go into Oni Hunters. It's going to give us more mana sustain, some magic defense, and percent mitigation. That's going to keep us alive in the late game. And I like to go Gladiators. That finishes off our cooldown at 40%, and it gives us good proc damage. Tyr has pretty good built-in damage, but the proc damage from Gladiators definitely helps. And then I like to go Winged Blade on him last, but obviously we're gonna upgrade our Bluestone as soon as we get to level 20. And then I like to go Winged Blade last if the other team has slows. Tyr really doesn't like to get slowed because you want to be able to like run around quickly and position your Fearless like into walls or into your teammates, kind of position it how you want to. So having that slow immunity and speed boost really helps you to do that, and dance around in the team fights and avoid a lot of damage. When you upgrade your breastplate, I would definitely go for this one, unless you're engaging with your ult and they have double ADC. If they have double ADC and you're engaging with your ult, you can go for this one, which reduces auto attack damage. Because then you can jump in, stun them, and you're not... They're getting their auto attacks reduced, and your team can engage behind you. off of that. Second relic, always go blink on Tyr. Always, always, always. Again, one of your main combos on this guy is to blink behind somebody, turn, and fearless them. So you always want to do that. Okay, next we're going to look at the easiest way to clear the wave and the buffs. So the wave is really straightforward on Tyr. Especially the first wave, you're going to have your 1 and your 2. You literally want to fearless so that you hit the melees and the archers. If you press right up against the melees, you should be able to reach the archers. And then you just use your 2 to finish them off. If they're tough enough, then you can swap and you can then heal off the wave. So say I fearless them, killed them, then I heal, and then you can just disengage and run to your other farm with your 1. So if you're ever in a losing matchup with Tyr, you should just never give the other guy the opportunity to hit you. You should be insta-clearing the wave and dashing away, like poking him, dashing away, going to your farm, and you win confirm on a lot of buffs by using your fearless and this, because if he tries to contest you, you just knock him up as well. So you can really just hyper farm on Tyr and kind of ignore the other guy. In terms of buffs at the beginning of the game, you always want to start with your 2, and then you just melee the middle one, then swap after you've done that, and then do that again. So it's auto 2, auto 3, auto 2, auto. And that's like your standard like top DPS on camps combo for Tyr. And then if you're doing that and then the other guy contests you later in the game, then you can hold your 1 in assault stance to go through the buff and the other person. They won't be able to do damage, and then you'll confirm the buff. Okay. In terms of playing the late game, Tyr definitely wants to go in first, I think. And you have a couple ways to engage. So let's say around objectives, Tyr is a really good zoning character because he does really strong damage, is very survivable, especially if you have your ult up. Like, the enemy team collapsing on you will not be able to get on top of you if you just can jump away back to your team when you're zoning. So zoning on objectives is pretty good. Let your team do it and just make space for them. You can also play just inside of the FG pit if your team is doing FG late game, and use your combos to like push people into lava pools and stuff. If the enemy team is coming in, you just go on them, push them into lava pools, push them into the knockups, push them through the ring, the FG ring, and just launch them through it, and they start taking burn damage. So that's all really good, but I'd say you can definitely zone on this god as well. You want to stay in your assault stance. When you're entering into battle, you usually want to be in an assault stance unless your blink is down. So when your blink is up, always be in assault stance and be looking to blink on a carry and push them into a bad position. So when you're rotating from solo lane, usually you're going to be behind them, and you just blink up behind them and like push them towards your team in the tower if your team is getting pressured. In the late game, you kind of want to like blink behind them or blink to the side of them and then push them to a place where they don't want to be. So like if they're in a Phoenix, you want to push them out of their Phoenix, or push them to the side out of their Phoenix. You could push them out the back of their tower and then go on them there so that you are not taking tower shots, things like that. If your blink is down, I actually recommend engaging in your guard stance with the stun ult, and you want to try and hit as many backliners as you can. You instantly swap and pick one to push back towards your team. So you really want to be setting up on this character for your mage or for your hunter to like just blow somebody up. You can go on a tank if they're alone, but I would highly recommend just going onto the backline. You should have the range, especially with your ult, to make it to them. Once you've done that, Tyr is all about disruption in those team fights. So if you kill the carries, you want to go and peel for your backliners. You want to use your CC to like stop people from being able to go on your carries really easily. You can peel tanks really well because you have like this long form CC that's not doesn't suffer from DR and doesn't suffer from CCR. So no matter what the tanks are building, you're still going to be able to disrupt them for a lot of time. And then the only other thing is like, you just want to waste the enemy team's time. A lot of the time on Tyr, like if you're diving, you might not be able to like 100 to 0 a carry or a backliner. But what you can do really well on this character is you get built-in protections, you're fast, you have a lot of mobility, and you heal. You can go into the backline, start hitting everybody, and then when the backliners are all looking at you, just run around and survive for so long that your team kills the enemy dive before you die. And then, you know, if you've blinked in, done all that, the mage and the hunter are both hitting you, your team kills the other tanks, like the enemy tanks, and then you just ult away, and now you're with your team, and you've got like a 5-on-4 or a 5-on-3 now, because you've just bought so much space and time. That's like a really good way to play the team fights on Tyr. So you don't need to worry about 100 to 0ing people on Tyr. You're going to do pretty good damage, but it's all about disruption and wasting the other team's time. Don't let them kill you. Like, honestly, it's much better to push people out, get them to run away, and then just kind of like reset on Tyr than to chase down kills. So yeah, that's what I would do on Tyr. That is going to do it for my guide. If you like this video, please drop a like, comment which gods I should do guides on next, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks, guys. Bye.